no matter who you are, no matter where you've been, and no matter where you are right now. You are welcome here. Welcome, everyone, to Daily Audio Bible Chronological. I'm Jill, and today is the 26th day of January. You guys, we are almost through this first month of January. How did this happen? Usually January is like the longest month in the year. It's like a year within a year. But this month has flown by. Holy cow. But you're here and you're doing this. And I am so glad that you're here, and I'm so proud of your efforts and being here. And I just want to remind us, because there are new people that show up every single day. Some duck in, duck out. That's okay. Some duck in and they stay, and some find this family that they didn't even know existed. If you're here and you fall off, life happens. You miss a day, the day ends up being a week, the week ends up being a month. We recommend that you start right where you are today, not where you fell off. You can always go back and catch up if you have time, but start today and just be with us in this present time, in this present moment, and stay connected within the community of what's happening now. Even start today and then go back at the same time when you have time, but start where you are. And isn't this true in life? If you fall down, you're going to miss some things, but get back up and join us right where life is at right now. With that being said, I am so glad that you are here, that the Bible is speaking to you, and I pray that it transforms you as you hear it. Today we continue in the book of Genesis, reading chapters 41 and 42, and this week we are reading the good old NIV, the New International Version, Genesis chapter 41. When 2 full years had passed, Pharaoh had a dream. He was standing by the Nile when out of the river there came up 7 cows, sleek and fat, and they grazed among the reeds. After them, 7 other cows, ugly and gaunt, came up out of the Nile and stood beside those on the riverbank. And the cows that were ugly and gaunt ate up the 7 sleek, fat cows. Then Pharaoh woke up. He fell asleep again and had a second dream. 7 heads of grain, healthy and good, were growing on a single stalk. After them, 7 other heads of grain sprouted, thin and scorched by the east wind. The thin heads of grain swallowed up the 7 healthy, full heads. Then Pharaoh woke up. It had been a dream. In the morning his mind was troubled, so he sent for all the magicians and wise men of Egypt. Pharaoh told them his dreams, but no one could interpret them for him. Then the chief cupbearer said to Pharaoh, "Today I am reminded of my shortcomings. Pharaoh was once angry with his servants, and he imprisoned me and the chief baker in the house of the captain of the guard. Each of us had a dream the same night, and each dream had a meaning of its own. Now a young Hebrew was there with us, a servant of the captain of the guard. We told him our dreams, and he interpreted them for us, giving each man the interpretation of his dream. And things turned out exactly as he interpreted them to us. I was restored to my position, and the other man was impaled." So Pharaoh sent for Joseph, and he was quickly brought from the dungeon. When he had shaved and changed his clothes, he came before Pharaoh. Pharaoh said to Joseph, "I had a dream, and no one can interpret it. But I have heard it said of you that when you hear a dream, you can interpret it." "I cannot do it," Joseph replied to Pharaoh, "but God will give Pharaoh the answer he desires." Then Pharaoh said to Joseph, "In my dream I was standing on the bank of the Nile, when out of the river there came up 7 cows, fat and sleek, and they grazed among the reeds. After them 7 other cows came up, scrawny and very ugly and lean. I had never seen such ugly cows in all the land of Egypt. The lean, ugly cows ate up the 7 fat cows that came up first. But even after they ate them, no one could tell that they had done so. They looked just as ugly as before. Then I woke up. In my dream, I saw 7 heads of grain, full and good, growing on a single stalk. after them 7 other heads sprouted, withered and thin and scorched by east wind. The thin heads of grain swallowed up the 7 good heads. I told this to the magicians, but none of them could explain it to me. Then Joseph said to Pharaoh, "The dreams of Pharaoh are one and the same. God has revealed to Pharaoh what he is about to do. The 7 good cows are 7 years, and the 7 good heads of grain are 7 years. It is one and the same dream. The 7 lean, ugly cows that came up afterward are 7 years, and so are the 7 worthless heads of grain scorched by the east wind. They are 7 years of famine. It is just as I said to Pharaoh. God has shown Pharaoh what he is about to do. 7 years of great abundance are coming throughout the land of Egypt, but 7 years of famine will follow them. Then all the abundance in Egypt will be forgotten, and the famine will ravage the land. The abundance in the land will not be remembered because the famine that follows it will be so severe. The reason the dream was given to Pharaoh in 2 forms is that the matter has been firmly decided by God, and God will do it soon. And now let Pharaoh look for a discerning and wise man and put him in charge of the land of Egypt. Let Pharaoh appoint commissioners over the land to take 1/5 of the harvest of Egypt during the 7 years of abundance. They should collect all the food in these good years that are coming and store up the grain under the authority of Pharaoh, to be kept in the cities for food. This food should be held in reserve for the country, to be used during the 7 years of famine that will come upon Egypt, so that the country may not be ruined by the famine." The plan seemed good to Pharaoh and to all his officials, so Pharaoh asked them, "Can we find anyone like this man, one in whom is the Spirit of God?" Then Pharaoh said to Joseph, "Since God has made all this known to you, there is no one so discerning and wise as you. You shall be in charge of my palace, and all my people are to submit to your orders. Only with respect to the throne will I be greater than you." So Pharaoh said to Joseph, "I hereby put you in charge of the whole land of Egypt." Then Pharaoh took his signet ring from his finger and put it on Joseph's finger. He dressed him in robes of fine linen and put a gold chain around his neck. He had him ride in a chariot as his second in command, and people shouted before him, "Make way!" as he put him in charge of the whole land of Egypt. Then Pharaoh said to Joseph, "I am Pharaoh, but without your word no one will lift hand or foot in all Egypt." Pharaoh gave Joseph the name Zephanath-Paneah and gave him Asenath, daughter of Potiphera, priest of On, to be his wife. And Joseph went throughout the land of Egypt. Joseph was 30 years old when he entered the service of Pharaoh, king of Egypt. And Joseph went out from Pharaoh's presence and traveled throughout Egypt. During the 7 years of abundance, the land produced plentifully. Joseph collected all the food produced in those 7 years of abundance in Egypt and stored it in the cities. In each city he put the food grown in the fields surrounding it. Joseph stored up huge quantities of grain like the sand of the sea. It was so much that he stopped keeping records because it was beyond measure. Before the years of famine came, 2 sons were born to Joseph by Asenath, daughter of Potiphera, priest of On. Joseph named his firstborn Manasseh and said, "It is because God has made me forget all my trouble and all my father's household." The second son he named Ephraim and said, "It is because God has made me fruitful in the land of my suffering." The 7 years of abundance in Egypt came to an end, and the 7 years of famine began just as Joseph had said. There was famine in all the other lands, but in the whole land of Egypt there was food. When all Egypt began to feel the famine, the people cried to Pharaoh for food. Then Pharaoh told all the Egyptians, "Go to Joseph and do what he tells you." When the famine had spread over the whole country, Joseph opened all the storehouses and sold grain to the Egyptians, for the famine was severe throughout Egypt, and all the world came to Egypt to buy grain from Joseph, because the famine was severe everywhere. When Jacob learned that there was grain in Egypt, he said to his sons, "Why do you just keep looking at each other?" He continued, "I have heard that there is grain in Egypt. Go down there and buy some for us. so that we may live and not die." Then 10 of Joseph's brothers went down to buy grain from Egypt. But Jacob did not see Benjamin, Joseph's brother, with the others, because he was afraid that harm might come to him. So Israel's sons were among those who went to buy grain, for there was famine in the land of Canaan also. Now Joseph was the governor of the land, the person who sold grain to all its people. So when Joseph's brothers arrived, they bowed down to him with their faces to the ground. As soon as Joseph saw his brothers, he recognized them, but he pretended to be a stranger and spoke harshly to them. "Where do you come from?" he asked. "From the land of Canaan," they replied, "to buy food." Although Joseph recognized his brothers, they did not recognize him. Then he remembered his dreams about them and said to them, "You are spies. You have come to see where our land is unprotected." "No, my lord," they answered. "Your servants have come to buy food. We are all the sons of one man. Your servants are honest men, not spies." "No," he said to them, "you have come to see where our land is unprotected." But they replied, "Your servants were 12 brothers, the sons of one man, who lives in the land of Canaan. The youngest is now with our father, and one is no more." Joseph said to them, "It is just as I told you. You are spies, and this is how you will be tested. As surely as Pharaoh lives, you will not leave this place unless your youngest brother comes here. Send one of your number to get your brother. The rest of you will be kept in prison, so that your words may be tested to see if you are telling the truth. If you are not, then as surely as Pharaoh lives, you are spies." And he put them all in custody for 3 days. On the 3rd day, Joseph said to them, "Do this, and you will live, for I fear God. If you are honest men, let one of your brothers stay here in prison while the rest of you go and take grain back for your starving households. But you must bring your youngest brother to me, so that your words may be verified, and that you may not die." This they proceeded to do. They said to one another, "Surely we are being punished because of our brother. We saw how distressed he was when he pleaded with us for his life, but we would not listen. That's why this distress has come on us." Reuben replied, "Didn't I tell you not to sin against the boy? But you wouldn't listen. Now we must give an accounting for his blood." They did not realize that Joseph could understand them, since he was using an interpreter. He turned away from them and began to weep, but then came back and spoke to them again. He had Simeon taken from them and bound before their eyes. Joseph gave orders to fill their bags with grain, to put each man's silver back in his sack, and to give them provisions for their journey. After this was done for them, they loaded their grain on their donkeys and left. At the place where they stopped for the night, one of them opened his sack to get feed for his donkey, and he saw his silver in the mouth of his sack. "My silver has been returned," he said to his brothers. "Here it is in my sack." Their hearts sank, and they turned to each other trembling and said, "What is this that God has done to us?" When they came to their father Jacob in the land of Canaan, they told him all that had happened to them. They said, "The man who was lord over the land spoke harshly to us and treated us as though we were spying on the land. But we said to him, 'We are honest men. We are not spies. We were 12 brothers, sons of one father. One is no more, and the youngest is now with our father in Canaan.' Then the man who was lord over the land said to us, 'This is how I will know whether you are honest men. Leave one of your brothers here with me, and take food for your starving households and go. But bring your youngest brother to me, so I will know that you are not spies, but honest men. Then I will give your brother back to you, and you can trade in the land.' As they were emptying their sacks, there in each man's sack was his pouch of silver. When they and their father saw the money pouches, they were frightened. Their father Jacob said to them, 'You have deprived me of my children. Joseph is no more, and Simeon is no more, and now you want to take Benjamin. Everything is against me.' Then Reuben said to his father, "You may put both of my sons to death if I do not bring him back to you. Entrust him to my care, and I will bring him back." But Jacob said, "My son will not go down there with you. His brother is dead, and he is the only one left. If harm comes to him on the journey you are taking, you will bring my gray head down to the grave in sorrow." Okay, so we have to acknowledge that there has been a lot that has happened over the last few days in the reading that got us to where we are today. Let's talk about some of that. When we get to genealogy, when we get to so-and-so had a son with the wife of first wife and second wife, and these were his sons, we have a tendency to check out. And I understand that. We have a tendency to do that. Even heard people recently talk about the unimportance of the genealogy in the Bible. However, it's there for a reason. And as we are going along, and the story changes drastically within a day, within a chapter, even sometimes within several verses, we hear these stories of these really messy people. We hear the deception that takes place within a family. We hear the envy and the jealousy that causes major decisions, that changes the trajectory of humanity within the stories that we are reading. Case in point, Jacob and Esau, divided by a mother who loved one son, maybe it's safe to say more so than another son. And such an interesting story that Jacob was supposed to come out first, got the little red scarlet ribbon tied around his leg, but he went back in. Esau came out first. And the story that's carried out through the family maybe causes some jealousy, some animosity. Like, I technically was supposed to be the first one born, but Esau came out first, therefore he gets the birthright. Jacob tricks him out of the birthright, and then ends up stealing the firstborn son's blessing from Esau again, causing Jacob to run away. And as he runs away, he builds this life for himself, and that takes a total turn. He was just going to go grab himself a wife, but he is deceived. Certain things kept from him that lead to him staying a much longer time than he anticipated, building a life, couple of wives, lots of kids, and a fortune for his uncle Laban. I'm just trying to get us caught up to where we are today, but to also understand why the lineage is so important. These trails of deception have led to very important decisions. Jacob and Esau have reunited. The fear of Esau killing Jacob, that fear led him to make decisions upon arrival of meeting. They have met up. They have put all differences aside. And so now here we are, we find ourselves in the story of Jacob. And Jacob has 12 sons. So in our reading, we have the lineage of these 12 sons who gave birth to whom. These are the 12 tribes of Israel. But we have one particular son named Joseph. And Joseph, a shepherd boy, as scripture tells us, is loved more than any of his brothers by his father, Jacob, who has now been renamed Israel, because Joseph has been given to Israel in his later years in life. And Joseph is a bit of a dreamer. He has dreams, and he's confident. He's confident in those dreams, and he has these older brothers, and he is confident to share these dreams with his brothers, and they're not so happy about Joseph's dreaming. And so once again, we see this jealousy within a family forming. So can we just pause here for a second and acknowledge that once again, when we see this jealousy arise, when we don't celebrate each other's victories, even within a family, and boy, I learned this way too late in life because I have adult children that I wish I could go back and do all of this all over again with what I have learned, and I can't. So we apply it now. We celebrate every small victory. And we're seeing this theme of jealousy and envy pop up a lot in the Bible so far. We have to pay attention to themes. And when we do see it, we see that bitterness. We see that silent competition grow. We see when we're not celebrating those individual wins and embracing Joseph as a dreamer, we start overcompensating. We try harder. We put ourselves in competition that the other person doesn't know we're in competition with. And we're losing in this competitive game of life that we don't even know we've entered into. But those that are experiencing the jealousy and the envy, they keep us in that competitive role that we don't even know that we're in. This is what is happening to Joseph. He is loudly and proudly expressing the dreams that God has given him about how he will rule over his brothers, and they did not have it. And so they took matters into their own hands. We're seeing that theme a lot as well. And they put him in a pit, but then decided it might be better off to sell him for some money. So they literally sell him into slavery. They sell their brother. It's called human trafficking in today's terms. Joseph is sold to Potiphar, one of Pharaoh's officials. Pharaoh is the leader of Egypt. And this is important because our story now shifts. Everything that we're reading now that has taken place with Joseph is taking place in Egypt. And this is really important because God promised Abraham a land of plenty, a people of plenty, but we're not going to get there easily. They are not going to get there easily. And this is the story of so many of our lives. We took a detour that we did not expect. We took a detour that we were not planning. A detour was taken for us that we didn't see coming. And so much of our lives is lived in this place that represents the desert, that represents slavery. So now this story of Joseph takes place in Egypt. And because of the pride of Pharaoh's wife, who seduces Joseph, and he does not give in to her seduction, she's embarrassed, humiliated, and angry. And so she lies, she deceives about the truth of what really happened. He is imprisoned, and then this theme of the dreams continues on. And I know we just kind of quickly went through 3 days of reading, but we need to acknowledge, we need to see that this gift, let's just call it a gift, this gift of dream interpretation that he has been given, we first see the negative effects of this gift. Maybe he's just this, cocky punk kid whose brothers do not take well to his confidence or arrogance, depending on how you look at it. This first incidence of his dreams, such a negative response from his brothers in their insecurity, in their jealousy and envy. But this gift now that he has been called for by Pharaoh to interpret the dreams for Pharaoh because of what happened in prison, has now gotten Joseph to be Pharaoh's right hand. Do we smell what the Bible is frying up for us here today? And boy, do I wish that we could all live in a family that would celebrate our gifts, our victories, and I know that's just not the truth for some of us, for many of us. But what we're going to learn throughout the Bible is that the intention of the heart is usually where the motive of the action can be found. And so it seems as if the intention of Joseph's brothers, the heart of his brothers, their heart was not good toward their brother. And little do they know, they sell him literally into the hands of Pharaoh, where this story is going to take such a huge turn in a few days. I don't want to get ahead. I don't want to give things away in the story, but we have to just pay attention to how we got here. We got here because of jealousy. We got here because of envy. We got here because of deceit. And the very thing that got Joseph here in this place is now the very thing that got him to an elevated place of leadership because of his character, because of his faith in God, his trust in God. And this is such a great story. I want you to hold on to your seats. There's so much to learn and so much to take away as we go through the story of Joseph in Egypt over the next few days. So Jesus, we thank you for your word. Thank you for our stories within a greater story. And I acknowledge, God, that so many people got here so many different ways. So many of us got here by detours and pitfalls of our own doing even, and some at the hands of those who just gave in to the voice of evil. But I thank you, God, that our stories are not finished. With you, all things are possible. And I thank you for your grace and your mercy, for your redemption. You can redeem all that was lost. But we have to submit to your ways, submit to your thoughts, submit to your will, and let go of ours. That is so hard to do, but it's not impossible. I pray that you would speak to us the things that you long for us to hear as we continue in your word. We love you, we thank you, we praise you, and we declare your goodness in every situation, because your character is good and your heart is good for each and every one of us. I pray this all today in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.